Chinese overseas media outlets reported on September 5th that drought and power shortages have led to China's aggressive development of coal power, which is limited by its high carbon emissions. According to the China Electricity Report, in the first quarter of this year, coal-fired power generation accounted for nearly 63% of total electricity generation. Citing data from the China Electricity Council, in the first half of this year, investment in thermal power reached 34.7 billion yuan, about $5.03 billion, an increase of 71.8% compared with the same period last year. On August 27th, the Chinese regime asked provinces to expedite the approval of new power generation projects, mainly nuclear and coal power plants. However, compared to nuclear power, with a cycle at least several times longer, at least 10 years from design, the construction cycle of coal power is relatively short, usually only 1.5 years for a 600 megawatt unit. The International Energy Transition Association, or ICETS, and the nonprofit independent environmental energy consultancy, EMBER, released a report in May of this year. The report said China's national carbon market officially started operating in July last year. The market includes coal power and emissions control, but its impact is limited. Loose allocation of carbon allowances may even allow some coal-fired power companies to profit by selling excess allowances. The carbon price per kilowatt-hour of coal power is 0.03 yuan, 8% lower than the on-grid electricity price, according to a report by Beijing Capital Securities. In the face of the global energy shortage situation, coal-fired power development is still China's best option to solve the current electricity shortage problem. However, technologies to reduce carbon emissions are challenging to achieve in the short term. Last month, China also suspended consultations with the United States on climate change, saying that carbon capture, use, and storage, or CCS, technologies can reduce carbon emissions.
As tensions continue to brew between China and the United States, Beijing has now accused Washington of breaking into computers at a university that U.S. officials say does military research for China's PLA. China says that U.S. conducted cyber attack on Northwestern Polytechnical University's server to get access to secure documents. The probe was launched after the university reported to police in April that traces of cyber attacks had been found in their system. Authorities working to investigate the attack say that they have traced the attacks to the National Security Agency in the United States. China's Northwestern Polytechnical University is on a U.S. government entity list that limits its access to American technology. Washington says the university helps the People's Liberation Army develop aerial and underwater drones and missile technology. This comes as security experts claim that the Chinese Communist Party, with the help of its military wing, PLA, sponsor hackers outside the government to gather information about other countries. China and the United States are both regarded as top leaders in cyber warfare research. Beijing has time and again accused Washington of spying on universities, energy and internet companies. U.S. meanwhile has repeatedly blamed China of stealing confidential information from virtual space.
China is in the midst of its broadest COVID outbreak yet, holding fast to its stringent zero-COVID response. Meanwhile, fizzling between apartment blocks are drones, telling residents to stay inside. This footage was recorded in Wuxi City, Zhangzhou City in Fujian Province, and Hunan Province. It's not the first time drones have been employed during China's pandemic struggle. Broadcasting drones made their debut in Shanghai earlier this year, while the Chinese metropolis was in a traumatic lockdown. At the time, robot dogs were even strolling about with loudspeakers making health announcements. Now, in western megacity Chengdu, white-clothed medical workers are riding miniature tanks spraying disinfection. The city has been locked up since September 1st, marking the biggest lockdown since the Shanghai tumult this spring. Simmering through August, COVID-19 has continued its advance across the second-largest world economy. As Bloomberg reports from mainland media Zaixin.com on September 1st, the recorded cases reached across 103 cities in 26 provinces, the most significant number since early 2020 when the pandemic began. Local officials will be sacked or penalized if an area fails to bring COVID outbreaks under control. As the situation intensifies, some might be pushed over the edge. This video from an unknown village in China that has been swirling around the internet lately tells the story of a crazed official threatening to bury any COVID cases alive.
钱了，妈妈要吃。
我的妈呀！我天！有不去啊？看啥子？拖车，拖车。整个拖车，这个拖车看了，现在呢全部打烂完。再看看它前头，看看无法过，没得法的。我们那儿发生大地震了，四川西昌那个甘孜藏族自治州发生大地震了，垮山喽！哪点儿？后头！嘿！过来！现在进入八九级了，过来！来了，狗狗头这些，他们家错路的，哪狗狗头？哦，你先从狗狗头找了，好吧？来！现在进入八九级了。来，老苗子，来，老苗子来吧。那边山要垮下来的，那边山哦，来，那边山垮完的，来贴它，来贴它马上就垮了，来贴它。老子裤子没穿吧？嘿，我听到地下皮的时候，我在车子上睡，不想说地下皮都走了，我以为他在摇车子，我没有关回去。糟了，那位早惨了。旁边家房子全就这儿在我地下。早惨了，我完了。哦，那边山也垮完了，还得垮，还得看嘛。签到了，投降了。鼻子啊，赵明走鼻子，赵明不打电话，他走小山啤酒小龙儿。这鼻子哦，找到压床子找没有？现在找了。还好，大家。哦，那批山垮完的。这房子一哦，你家房子要把你收稳了。看到。哇，压耳朵不要过。还要垮，还要。
这个小伙子地震来了就只有2楼高头跳下来，咋拽到了？咋去？2楼有必要跳吗？
温泉的证出来了，温泉。温泉的证出来了，温泉。
这边发现一个民房啊，就是完全坍塌了。
6.9级大概应该是。我们现在在往安全的地方去撤，去一个广场，先撤离到安全的地方。这是路边的情况。
地震喽！地震喽！海螺沟，海螺沟。
等会儿赶紧往这底下去算了。我们收到吗？先会管一局再收到。对。
现在各位疫情期间，我们已经上公交车了，但是坐在不在人的日子，根据目前情况，地震它提醒就是在我们华北地区上，希望大家还是赶紧回家，就。
太过分了！
我想出去了。
太过分了！
我想出去。
所以说地震已经结束了。地震已经结束了。
但是你跟后面的责任，妈一个鸡哦你！是你买啥东西？开门！开门！你不能不管要得哦！快点开门！你买啥东西啊？你给我在室内头啊！你妈蛋你地震了喂！别说是不啷个了，就是一个个的混账！要请示请示你妈了个屁！是你买啥东西了？地震了！好凶哦！你那是外头了，说跑就跑了。你敢不敢把这是吧？还不要嘛？你敢不敢把这买？才赶快开开！妈哟，你买啥东西了你？哎呀，好凶哦！快点开门！是你买啥东西嘛？你干过来？请示你妈那个屁啊！请示！有了，别还在开，快点！快点开门！你一个个的王八蛋，我说你！你不要！放在家头不放心。哦。这个猪肉太贵了。放在家头不 我放心。
哦。
猪肉太贵了。
有500斤没得哦，这个猪肉包有500斤喽。
不晓得。